right, number 3 just says suppose ST is the position of a moving object along a line where T is greater than or equal to 0. What is the average velocity between times T and A? Sorry, T equals A and T equals B. So again, we're just looking for the average velocity formula following the slope. So B minus A. Okay, so I'm looking at either A or B. And then we're going to have S of B, which will be the second point, and then minus S of A. So I'm looking for S of B minus S of A. So actually B and D are the ones we're looking at according to the denominator, and it looks like D will have the S of B minus S of A. So it's just a formula. Remember, the B's will be aligned, the A's will be aligned, and it's subtraction in the formula. So when you see plus, that's throwing it off, and these have the wrong order. All right, what is the slope of the secant line between points A, F of A, B, F of B? So same thing, just change the variables. Again, just be able to recognize the slope formula. Secant line, B minus A, B minus A. A looks good, that's plus. Order's wrong, and we have a plus, so A looks good as well. All right, we'll go ahead and do number 5 as well. So 5 says we're going to track the position of an object that's moving along a line given by this equation S of T. We're going to find the average velocity over the following intervals. Okay, so we're going to simplify this part, and then we're going to work out each part. So what we want to do is we're going to take this equation S of T, which is equal to negative 16 T squared plus 80 T. And then we're going to find the average velocity. So we got 4 parts, A, B, C, and D. Okay, so what we're doing is, again, approaching the definition of limit, and we're getting closer and closer to each point. So A wants to know between 1 and 5. So it's always the y2 minus y1, so the bigger minus the smaller point. So I'm going to do 5 minus 1. That's going to be on the bottom. Okay, so with B, I'm just setting them all up. B is going to be 1 to 4. So my denominator is going to be 4 minus 1. So the gap is getting smaller. C is going to be 1 to 3. So it's going to be 3 minus 1 on the bottom. And then part D says, okay, if we do this for any number H, so we're going from 1 to 1 plus H. Sorry. So this is going to be H plus 1 minus 1. Kind of put that as one term. And then we're going to find the numerator. So what you'll notice is that 1 is a part of every problem. So in my y coordinate, I'm going to be subtracting the same value. My starting value will be different each time. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use technology just to kind of speed up the process. I'm going to go to y equal, turn it on first. Go to y equal, clear out what I have, and I'm going to type in this function, which is a negative 16. Now the calculator doesn't input t as a variable, it always uses x. So we're just going to do 16x squared and then plus 80x. Alright, I'm just going to hit graph, even though I don't really need to see the graph. I'm just going to use this screen to find the input. So I'm trying to find the input, the y value, when I plug in 5 and when I plug in 1. So I'm just going to hit trace, and then it will allow me to input a number. So when x is 5, we get a y value of 0. That's what my graph is telling me. So we have 0 minus, and then when we plug in y value of, I'm sorry, x value of 1, we get 64. Okay, so when we simplify this, we have a negative 64. 5 minus 1 will give us 4. 64 divided by 4 gives us a negative 16. So the slope between those 2 points will give us a negative 16. And now once I've gotten that first value, remember we're plugging in 1 every time. So I'm going to go ahead and write minus 64, minus 64, minus 64, and I'll work the rest of these. So if we were to plug in a 4 for my next part, we get 64 as well. This gives us 0 over 3, which is just 0. When we plug in the x value of 3, we get 96. When we subtract 96 and 64, gives us 32 divided by 2, which is 16. And then this last one, we're going to have a function value. So we're going to start with our function up above, and we're going to plug in h plus 1 for t. Sorry, not t squared. I'm going to do h plus 1 plus 80 h plus 1. Alright, so first you have to do FOIL with the h plus 1. So if I do h plus 1 times h plus 1 and distribute, that'll give me h squared plus h, and then when I go h plus 1, that'll give me another plus h, and then 1 times 1 plus 1, so we'll have a h squared plus 2h plus 1. So negative 16 is going to get multiplied through to the h squared plus the 2h plus the 1. And then we're going to have 80 times h. It was 80h. 80h. And then 80 times 1 plus 80. Okay? And now we're going to distribute and simplify what we can. So we have a negative 16h squared, and then minus 32h minus 16 plus 80h plus 80. Alright, so we can combine like terms. We have 32h with this h term. We have 16 with 80. We're going to combine those terms. The 16 squared will stay. So we got a minus 16h squared. Combining the 80 and 32, that's going to give us 48h. So it will be a positive, so plus 48h. And then the minus 16 and plus 80 will give us a positive 64. When I place this up here, I will notice the 64s will cancel, but I'll do that in just a minute. So we have a minus 16h squared plus 48h and then plus 64. So when we simplify, 64 cancels. That's going to leave me with a negative 16h squared plus 48h, and then we're going to divide through h plus 1 minus 1 will cancel, and that's going to leave me with an h. All right. On the top, we can factor out a 16H. Let's see. So we're going to have 16H that we factor out. That's going to leave me with a negative H here. Divide by 16. 16 times 3 will give us 48, so that'll be a plus 3. And then when the H on the bottom will cancel out one H, and so this will be my remaining polynomial. So the 16 times negative H plus 3, or you can just leave it as negative 16H plus 48. Okay, either one of these should be satisfactory, the factor form or the linear form. And so this form we could use to find any answer no matter what we plug in for H. So we are looking at the slope for the first one, negative 16. I put 0.16 looks like instead of a negative. Between 1 and 4, 0. 1 and 3, 16. And then the final, I'm going to try the factor form. It might say we don't like it, so either one of these, they're both the same, but let's see which one. It could take both. It'll only let me put one in. Negative H plus 3. Okay, so it'll take the factor form. So that should be good for number 5.